Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask. In the last episode, we got the ice arrows as we started our journey through the Great Bay Temple. This episode, what we're going to be doing for now is we have this red water flow here, and we're really going to be trying to chase the red water through the temple and make sure that its path through the temple is unimpeded. To that note, if you avert your gaze, turn your gaze towards the bottom screen, you will notice I've changed it around a little bit. I've booped it so that it now follows what direction I'm facing, and it's a bit more zoomed in. You'll notice, I never knew this before, it shows the water flows on that map completely, and it showed here a no entry sign, and I've now spun that switch, and it no longer shows that. It shows a kind of, yay, you've done well, sign. So what we've done here, look at that. We turn the red tap on, and the yellow one's going, and so both are going at the same time, and so the water wheel is stopped. There's neither of those two fountains is turning it. Unfortunately, we then can't go back into that main room because the lifts that take us up there are also not working. So before doing that, we actually need to disable the yellow one, and this is how we reverse the flow of water in the entire temple. If we then spin this yellow one around to lock it off, that drops down, which means the water wheel starts turning again, but pushed in the opposite direction, now being pushed by the blue flow rather than the red flow. Now, in order to proceed, we need to get back to that big central room by just following these lifts and following the path along from there. But yeah, if you look on the bottom screen there, you can see like where the yellow things are going, where the red things are going. It's quite cool. Anyway, I will see you over in the central room. So now here you will notice, if you remember which direction it was spinning in last episode, it is spinning in the opposite direction, which means that whole vortex is going in the opposite direction, which opens two more paths to us. But we actually have a sneaky third path that's open to us right now, and we don't have to do anything underwater to get to it. We just have to go over here, because there's this waterfall on this ladder, and we can stop that at its source. And so with that done, obviously, then we can just climb up this ladder. I mean, you probably could have climbed up this ladder against the waterfall. It might have just been perhaps a little on the unpleasant side, and in you go. So, there's a Tektite here I'm going to try and get rid of. Oh, no, he got rid of me. What a bastard. So you can see the paths around this room are quite clear. And this has been made clearer again in the 3D version by having these freezy spots where you can always do this. But our main target over there is there's another switch. This switch is green, and like these kind of like, oh bugger, big like, you can just get back onto these from the water anyway, so it's fine. These big like fish switches always do the same thing, which is they turn a flow on for the first time. They also take ages to spin. So the last episode was all really about the red water. This one we're about following the green water along and chasing that throughout the dungeon. But there's a few things to do briefly here first. Can you fuck off? Ah, that's too much Tektite. Way too much Tektite. What we want to do for now is freeze that bit there, and that bit there, and then following... Link goes into a dive way too readily. Following them along from here, we can use this spot here to grapple up into the ceiling. And there's a couple of things of use here. Well, there's one main thing of use here, which is... that's the back of the chest. Actually, there's two things I'll say. There's our 9th Great Fairy there, which is pretty cool. And there is 20 quid, which links back to the entrance back to the main room. So that's quite nice. What we want to do now is... I haven't actually got my fish mask ready, but there it is. And so what we want to do is fish up. And then hop into the water. And now, as ever, you've got two levels. You've got kind of a mid-level and a lower level. But we access now different holes in them, because this one is sealed, and instead the one we're being blown towards is this one a little further down. Oh, there we go. So there's Dexy Hand there, you can kill him. Oh no, he got me. He got me. The camera's going fucking ape shit, and I think that's going to avoid my chance to get that 20 quid. Oh well. A lot of the handling of Zora Link, as I've talked about before, is garbage and comes up all the time during this dungeon, which is one of the irritating things about it. Either way, here we've got these platforms going up and down, we've got a waterfall falling onto a rapidly spinning water wheel, we've got a lot of stuff going on. But what I want to do for now is go back human, and we just want to jump over here. Whoa, that was a weird side flip that felt unnecessary. Here we want to wait till we're right near the top, and we want to get to that in one, and I'm going... Oh, that... I don't feel like that should have worked, but we'll go for it. Down here, you'll find the little torch. You can grapple onto it, or you can grapple onto that chest itself over there if you can get a good angle on it. Because we want to go down there. Oh, yeah, if you let go and you're pointing at it, it will connect. No matter if it's a fucking dodgy-ass shot, it will work, which is great. Let's head back up to where we just were. Now from here, we can climb up onto this bit, and you'll notice not only does the green pipe go through over there, which is where we need to go, making that jump with that thing spinning would be challenging to say the least, but we can make it far easier. Oh, cocks. So don't fall off at this point, because obviously the lift that brought us up here is now no longer working. If you want to get back up here, you'll have to thaw that with fire arrows, set it spin again, and then freeze it once more. But hopefully we can avoid that entirely and head through here. Into the seesaw room. So this is mildly entertaining. The concept is quite simple. We will deal with it in just a sec. For now, if we head into this... Oh, yep. These are seesaws. You apply weight on one end, they will go up to that end, and they have like a kind of default resting state. They also hide things underneath them. Like this one has a little underwater section, and one of the more annoying parts of this dungeon. We need to break this barrel. In order to do so, you need to dash into it as Zora Link, and that's really hard to do. Because it's just very difficult to aim for it. And getting the height right and everything, it's awful. And I always despise this. What the? Well, while I try and do this, I'll let the music play a little bit, and you can see what the Great Bay Temple music is like, which is one of the main reasons I don't like this temple. There's a choo-choo up there, so you're not really going to hear the music in its full glory anyway. There we go, finally, that's a Great Fairy. Our 11th, a Great Fairy, Straith Fairy, so we're doing pretty well. I'll let the music play, I suppose, in another bit, I guess. Let's kill this dude. Grab some magic, because we're actually surprisingly low on the old magic. Because we're using the electric barrier and like ice arrows quite a lot, it does come up relatively often. Break the damn barrel, there we go. I'm pretty sure there's magic in some of these. Oh, apparently there's only a quid in each one. Yep, that's ludicrous. Anyway, what we want to do here, now we're on back on the surface, is we want to stand on this seesaw. Actually, you know, these shoes have all got magic in, so I'm going to grab a little bit of that from all of them, because we've got a lot of elemental arrow shit upcoming, one way or the other, so... Oh, that one had an arrow in it. Oh, well, I mean, that will still, one way or the other, prove useful, but... I want to stand on this one here, and then bring up the old fire arrows. And you'll notice, if we look up in the ceiling, there is a frozen water vent. And that pushes the seesaw down, and this is quite cool, because now we can proceed doing exactly the same here. And look at that, at the top we've got another green switch. You've got a... Oh! You've got a real bomb tune. Yep, that's what I was going to say, and then it killed me. So, in order to proceed back up, I will have to freeze both of those sections again, and then thaw them again while I'm in the right position. So, I'll see you up there. Right, let's try that again. The real Bombchu is obviously now dead, because he destroyed himself trying to take me down. Well, he's succeeding in taking me down, and now can spin this around. Now I'm going to do stuff and let you listen to the music. There's too many enemies around here for the game to actually play the music, so I guess I'll have dubbed it over in post. But yes, it's got that same... Oh, we have to, by the way, here, we have to turn on that seesaw, which was the initial one. And because basically we can't just leave by the way we came in, because every room in this, obviously water flow is a thing. If we leave... Come on. Oh, you're going to be like that, aren't you? Yeah, if we tried to leave through the door we came in, we would find water flow going against us because the current is coming in from the central kind of spinny chamber. So we have to leave by a different route, and it's mildly irritating. And it's one of the things that just makes this place really difficult to navigate. It's like the water temple in that In the water temple, if you... Oh, you little bastard! In the water temple, if you, like, accidentally raise the water to the wrong level, you have to cycle it through all the levels to get back to kind of like where you were. Equally here, if you go down the wrong place, you just spend ages swimming through a load of tunnels that are all... look the same and yet are meaningfully different to get back to the same place that you were, and it's that same level of kind of mingy, I suppose. But now, of course, yeah, if we want to go back, you have to know specifically that you hop down here, and then dead ahead of us here is... this is the way that connects back to the central chamber. You just have to basically learn the dungeon layout, because the map doesn't really help with that, infuriatingly. Anyway, for now, what we have to do is go through this final path that we can get through. We also couldn't have got through this before, because it was closed off due to the direction of the water spinning. We can only get here once we've reversed, because this is also where the green path is going, and it's going up there, and there's a stray fairy there, which I'm going to deal with in a second, but there's a much closer stray fairy over here. So if we hit this one with our double cutters from a distance, that's important, because once you get up there, you'll get sucked through, and you have to be able to grab it there and then. That should be... balls. That really should have been our 14th. But it's our 13th. I hate it when this happens. Well, we might as well get number 14 and then I can work out exactly what I'm missing off camera, I suppose. Right, so over there is number... I was going to call it 15, but it's not, is it? It's 14, I suppose. Because one of them is missing somewhere. I can't even get the damn thing anyway. And there we go. Right, we can lure this one at least in with the Great Fairy's Mask. And then I'm going to track down the missing one. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm trying not to be negative against the Great Bay Temple, but it's worth noting this is the temple where I first lost track of a Great Fairy in either. Well, so that's frustrating. So I figured it out. Back here in this room, what we have to do is freeze this water wheel to stop it from spinning. And then there's a little bit here I forgot to do while it is frozen, which is, you'll notice, we can proceed straight over to that room there, or we can actually turn around and walk across the shaft of the thing itself, and we can grapple up there. And of course this chest, no guesses for what's in this. No prizes for guessing what's in this. And do you know what the best thing is? Oh, let's say I want to just go back to where I was now. No, I can't just reverse it. I've got to basically follow the damn flow of the whole dungeon through until the dungeon decides, yes, it's okay for me to go back. So I will see you back over in that room we were just in. Right, so finally back here. Part of me is almost relieved that on recording this dungeon is just as low-level shitey as I remember it being. Which I guess is good. It's not good in a lot of ways, but it's like, it's always annoying. Okay, it's not annoying, but it's always notable whenever I'm like, oh, this is one of them. I remember this being one of the most irritating parts of the game, and it's nothing. It's really easy. Occasionally it is nice to be like, I remember this part of the game being really irritating when I was a child, and now speaking as an adult, turns out, yeah, it's still really fucking irritating. Anyway, hopefully you've got the boss key from defeating the gecko. Now what I actually want to do here is defish. Jiggle around some stuff in the infantry. I want the regular arrows primed. This thing, there's a bloody good chance this, what's it called, pot over here contains a fairy, so I want to at least make the most of that. It's a quid, an entire rupee. Wonderful, right, let's do a sweet backflip down the hole then. Time for a horrifying boss fight. Gargantuan masked fish, Georg. Or George, depending on how you want to pronounce it, but I'm pretty sure it's Georg. So, well, first things first, when you're in this first phase, well, let's talk to Tattle.
Don't be flustered by the pace he's keeping, just watch your step and try not to fall. Where you can, aim carefully and shoot.
Whatever you do in this first phase, no matter how tempting it is, and this is what I did not figure out when I was a kid, don't get in the water. If you get in the water, this happens. Immediately he sees you, he fucking comes for you, or not, or he just sits over there. Is that another thing they've changed? They have changed this boss fight quite a lot. But yes, usually he will just fucking come at you, and it used to scare the absolute shit out of me. Like if I go in the water here... Oh yeah, no, he sees me, and he comes straight at me. Where's he gone? Man, I'm proving a fucking terrible point here. You see? Oh, he must actually be coming straight at me, but he's trying to come through the pillar. That's hilarious if that's the case. Have we lost it? Right, this is funny. So, right, what we actually have to do is just shoot him for now. But this boss for me is absolutely synonymous with... I don't get this very often because I'm a marine biologist and I'm an experienced scuba diver, so the idea of like feeling really exposed and vulnerable in the water, it doesn't really bother me much. This boss fight would 100% trigger that in me as a kid. Like the moment I was in the water, I was like, oh, get out of the water. Like, no, that's what it should be like. The moment you're in the water, he comes up. I swear he used to like gobble you up or something like that. Man, he's really impotent compared to what I'm expecting. Hey, Georg, hey, you. Hey. Nope. Cool. They've massively changed that then. Maybe it's if you're Zora. And if you try and swim after him, maybe that's what gets it. Wow, they've changed him a lot. Cool. They've made him far less scary to me, because it was like, the moment you're in the water, he would come for you, he'd bite you, and he'd be like, ah, 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 ah. You notice that time was actually the underwater timer. That's a thing, you can't actually be underwater that long as a non-Zora, but obviously you can always fish up anyway. But yes, once you've damaged him enough, his eyeball is exposed. As with all the boss fights, they've updated it in Majora's Mask 3D to have like an eyeball that's an obvious weakness somewhere. But yeah, they've really have actually taken away a lot of what made this... Oh, there we go. That's great. We can do some good damage to this with the old jump attack. In this first phase, yeah, you usually had to stay on the pillar, and if you even got off the pillar for any reason, you were going to have a bad time. But they've really actually reduced that part of it seems. Oh, that means he's going to try and jump at me. Oh, you bugger! Ah! So he gets on here, he looks at you, that's fucking weird, and then he'll ram at you, and that's... Yeah, this boss just is nowhere near as scary as it used to be. It's a shame. I'm going to talk about this a bit more next episode. For me, the Great Base stuff is the weakest part of this game. Everything to do with like Mikau and Zora Hall and this dungeon and the Pirate's Fortress and the boss, it's all just a bit weak. Basically, the beginning of the game is really good. Like Woodfall and Snowhead have both got a good feel. Here it loses momentum a bit. Don't despair though. Boy, does it recover momentum when we get to Ikana, the final area. That's really where this game excels. So now this bit, I know they have rejigged quite a lot. These green jars are useful because they contain magic. What you will notice, that sound is these spike mines coming out. This is how we've got to attack him. So if you go near him, he will... Okay, he won't. Generally, you watch him and he swims around and then he'll settle somewhere. When he settles somewhere, you get near him and he'll try and suck you in. What you actually want to do is hit one of these things so that the mine goes into his mouth rather than you. I'm in his mouth, but I think there's a... I swear the mine went in as well. Ugh. His little bitches he throws at you can quite easily be killed with the electric barrier. And it's a bit of a lottery of where he actually bothers settling. Here we might be able to get him, so if we break this off and then get him to suck... Oh, yes, he sucked that in before he actually sucked us in, and that damages him. So that stuns him, I suppose I should say, and then just use your electric barrier to deal him damage. Brilliant. And then we proceed. This part is quite different. I think you just basically... I can actually barely remember. I didn't like this boss fight, partly because it scared the living shit out of me. But yeah, as a kid, I never liked it, and so I just don't really remember what it was like much in the... Oh no! Don't barrier, you useless bastard! Yeah, I don't remember much of what it was actually like on the original, but I know they have, like... Oh, fuck! Me! I'm dying! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, if I die, that's going to be incredibly embarrassing, right? I'm just going to completely ignore him for a moment and actually just heal up a bit. Yay! Arrows! That'll be useful. Oh, he's... Oh, yes, good. Hearts. Yeah, those little skullfish he makes can just be killed instantly with the barrier, and they can actually throw a shit ton of hearts. That's bloody handy. Well, at least I'm back to life. I was going to say, so far this has been will be added to the list of my illustrious Immortal Let's Plays, and I would hate to lose it so easily. On the boss fight I don't like. Especially. So, this is all a bit of a juggling game. It's all about where he happens to land, and whether you can reasonably, from there... There we go. Oh, no. Zora Link swimming controls! Ugh. God, that's just like 2.5 hearts. That's actually pretty gnarly. Did I just say gnarly, unironically? Wow, that's embarrassing. That's what this dungeon has driven me to. Yeah, Great Base stuff, generally the worst part of the game in a lot of ways. And just, yeah, here you got to play the game of he's got to settle in the right place that you can actually use one of these things against him. If not, just bad luck. These are just incredibly easy to just fry. So, ooh, settle there, will you? Yes, there we go. Cool. Now we can actually get him a bit. So what we want to do is get close to him, dash into the weak point on this, and then he'll start sucking, but he'll suck that in before he sucks me in. There we go. It basically just, this boss fight rages between being really easy and being really difficult, which is not good. Generally speaking, that is relatively weak game design if it's like, this is hard, because you can't physically, like, you just can't do the right thing, but if you suddenly can do the right thing, then it becomes easy. It's like, that's not great. Let's see if we can hit him with this one. Oh, ow, balls, I hit one. Oh, I'm fine, actually. Then weirdly, whenever you hit him, you float up to the surface always, so you have to go straight back down again, and it feels really weird, and like using the electric barrier rather than punching it doesn't feel right. But hey, there's Georg dead. Oh, I went for a victory drink and I forgot about the frog spawn drink that I mentioned last episode. Oh god, I'm getting towards the end of it and it's literally settled into like a congealed mass at the bottom. I'm gonna get a new drink after this episode, which I'm going to end basically at this point. But of course, time to get some remains and time to have another cutscene in the old bubble bath. You seized Georg's remains. In doing so, you freed the innocent spirit that was imprisoned within this dark mask.
Hey, listen, we want you to lend us your power. If you just leave things as they are, something terrible will happen to this world. Surely, you're the only ones that can stop it. That's what Tail was trying to tell us. Help. Our friend. I get it. We have to help the last one. Then promise us this. You'll cooperate with us.